What's going on YouTube? It's your boy at Don. Keep it going, Charles, man. G. Oh man. Gang, let me go ahead and smoke a little something. I just got the Blue Raz pack. I haven't even opened up the Blue Raz Swishers yet. Um I thought they were limited edition. Apparently in Missouri, they're just now getting it. But I mean, if you know anything about the market and shit, my bad, I didn't mean to cuss. But if you know anything about the market and stuff, between the South and Chicago, they kind of get everything new first, and New York. But I think the South gets everything brand new first. The South does. But yeah, I thought they were just out of stock, or like I said, it said limited edition, but I got some of that. But I ain't gonna lie, I kind of gutted out my Black and Mild. I mean, I was smoking Black and Mild heavily for a minute. It was kind of like a little thing phase, but I gutted out my Black and Mild, just used that as a swisher. It's the same thing with any other leaf you would use, or a mango, or whatever you would use. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing different. It's just a Black and Mild wrapper. That's all. It's the same shit, same stuff. But anyway, so yeah, let's get into it, gang. So anyway, this morning, well, last night I had shit planned. I was supposed to drop a video last night, and I ended up staying up all night trying to edit and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm falling asleep. I gotta wake up anyway, so that's exactly what I did. You feel me? Get some rest. But I forgot. My sister had went out to eat. I forgot I had some business to do with my OG, with my mom this morning. I say about 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. At first, when the sun got out, rising, during the day, I was like, damn, it's pretty early. The sun's already out and shit like that. I'm like, my mom's laying here. Went back to sleep another 30 to an hour, a minute, hour and a half, 30 minutes to an hour and a half. Then she finally, comes in, she knocks on the door, hey, you ready? I'm like, oh, God, da, 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 da. I was like, yeah, let me get my boots on, you know what I'm saying, all this shit. Now, mind you, bro, I'm used to, working in, laboring ass jobs. Well, I'm used to moving heavy shit. I'm used to all that shit. I used to do that shit after high school, so when I graduated. So I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. After getting a little older, it hit different. It hits different, dog. So I got up this morning, and I went outside. I'm already sweating. I'm like, damn, but I ain't gonna lie. Low key, now that I think about it, it was good exercise, cardiovascular exercise and shit like that. And me and my mom talked about some old things, and she said she apologized for, you know what I'm saying? Just like back and forth shit growing up, kind of unstable and shit, trying to find the best place for us to go, the best schools, all those things, you know what I'm saying? Because me and my sister went through a lot of shit growing up. And but anyway, we're talking. But then, when we're loading this shit up, you know, we're loading everything up, man. I'm grabbing boxes. We doing everything. And it got so done quicker because mentally I was like, in my head, I'm like, we already done. I can see vision how this is already. And that's how powerful the mind is. You know what I'm saying? I want to touch base on that in a minute. But that's how powerful the mind is. So in my head, I'm thinking this is already done. I pictured the plate, the U-Haul, packed with boxes and everything. So we finally get done. No, actually, I ran to the gas station because and that's another thing too. It was like a really humbling experience. I'm trying not to miss this, bro. The whole point of the video, it's a really humbling experience. The part I did get worried about was when my mom was like heat exhausted, looked like she about to pass out. So I went and grabbed some water, some Gatorade. I don't know why this woman wanted just the soda and water, but I was like, all right. I grabbed me a Gatorade and stuff like that. So and the whole time I'm like, I really wish she would be drinking Gatorade and water right now. But she got her water, she got her liquid, she got her soda, so that's all that really matters to me. But I wish she was really, she always talking about me, you know what I'm saying, But anyway, it was humbling because, she was saying, I'm not a superhero anymore, da da da, And, sometimes, I just really don't think of shit. I just rub it off, I just, now, and, what I'm saying, realizing, it's to the point where it's just me and my mom just moving her stuff, and my sister's pregnant, so she can't really do much. She can't even overstrain herself, or she'll end up in the hospital. She's pregnant and everything, so that's understandable. It's just like my brother was supposed to come through, but he didn't. as you get older, bro, like, and you're working, like, you ever had worked out so goddamn hard and good that you just like in a natural drug state. You're not even taking no drugs, no substance. You just got a natural high. And you just thinking and meditating off of just that energy, bro. That's how it was, like a euphoric feeling and shit, bro. And it still lasts, and it lasts higher, lasts longer and shit. But it just made me think like, damn, I just really appreciate everything my mom has tried to do for me and my sister, has done for me and my sister. Even my dad got arrested, so you know, it's just sometimes it's an emotional feeling that comes over you sometimes. Lately, sometimes it just be that spirit, that humbling spirit. Spirit. If you were a real humble person, all I gotta say is if you know, man. If when you one of them type, when you one of them, bro, and there's like a spirit out there like that forgive people, whatever, it can sense that, and it'll give you that sense of humbleness and respect and love and all that stuff. At the same time, it'll give you that like punch in the face too, and slap into reality. Like, damn, this is really life. Like we have parents. Then we end up having kids. We move on. They move on. And then when my kids have when my kids have they have kids, they move on, they move on. It was just surreal. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Um, the spirit's definitely been talking to me a lot lately. I can tell you that right now, bro. But anyway, before I get back, when I get back to that. But anyway, but the whole time, what I'm saying, I'm up, I'm sweating. So God damn, I'm taking breaks, every once in a while and shit like that. And we get everything loaded. We get to Columbia, Missouri. We unloading everything. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this ain't gonna be that bad. You know what I'm saying? But, mind you, we in the sun and shit, so we working hella hard, bro. Me and my OG, we just going at it back to back, getting these boxes in this trailer together and all this stuff and all this stuff. It wasn't just boxes too, it was just all type of shit. And boy, and I was out there from like I want to say 6 to 6, 7 or 8 till like 4 or 5 o'clock, bro. Me driving back and forth, make sure I'm trailing her, make sure we good, we not having any accidents in traffic. Just even like when I was driving, bro, my legs feel like every time I got out the car, my legs. You ever drive so much when you're after you just got done working or you're working, and your legs feel like ancient, like basically like old sticks. That's how my legs feel like locked up and shit. It wasn't like cramping, but it was like, damn, like this age shit really does sit in. You know what I'm saying? Especially if like when you just now, not just now, but like when you have a certain lifestyle or you used to live a certain old lifestyle and you're working on that and you're doing better things for your body, you know what I'm saying? It comes back on you, bro. Yeah, so especially if you gain weight like I did, you know what I'm saying? I went from like 150 in 2018 to like 2026 now. I'd say I'm about, in 2026 right now, I'm about like I don't know, about 240, 230, 5'6", 5'5" 5'6", 5'7" ish. On a good day, 5'7" or whatever. And and so we finally pull up. I get out the car. My legs like damn, my knees and shit. It ain't that bad. It wasn't hurting, but it was like damn, like man, I've never felt this pain. I started driving. You know what I'm saying? And that was just today. And I've driven on my own car like from 2024 and 2025 bits and pieces. Actually, 2023, 2024. Before I hit the deer, I hit a deer and shit. But I was like, when we pulled up, I got out the car. Of course, legs was fucking up a little bit. Not that bad, but just tired, fatigue and shit. And then we get to her place, her apartment. And, and then we finally get everything unloaded. We getting half of everything unloaded, I'm like, God damn. Shout out to the ancestors, folks. And I was out there for like a day. From 7 to 4 or whatever, or whatever the case may be, 8 to 4. Shout out to the goddamn. I don't want to call my ancestors slaves because the word slave comes from the word Slavic. Slavic is a European word from a European people. Not that there's anything against it. I don't want to confuse the two. You had you had black indentured workers here in America, along with some people that was native here that looked like us. I guess you know what I'm saying. I don't know if black people were slaves or not. Because, like I said, the word slaves come from the word Slavic. And Slavic people are from eastern part of Europe, Euro-Asian. I mean, but I ain't gonna lie, but even then, during the Slavic slavery, you had the Indian slave trade who would go to Slovakia and different parts of Europe when Europeans were first. And the Europeans, or white people we would call today, were slaves, basically. There were more white slaves than there was blacks at the time, European slaves. It's fucked up. It happens to everybody. Um, but anyway, like I said, I'm gonna say black indentured workers, like the Irish were white indentured workers when they came to Americas, but they were treated as slaves too. What I'm saying, they wasn't always welcome to into everything until somebody down the line and said, hey, if you accept, we'll accept you guys as white if you follow our rules and go against these group of people, basically go get an ideology and da 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 da. I'm gonna just say this: fuck racism, bro. Nigga, how's that work ethic, bro? Ain't bro? Like I said, I only experienced about 10, 11, 12. I spent so much, and it was just in one day. And I got up early, and I'm just got damn near just gotten out the shower, getting shit done, bro. Like, it's just that, like, shout out to them indentured black workers back in the plantation days, cause nigga, what I did in one day, they did for years, 400 or 500 years, dog. Night to morning, morning to night. If they ain't pissed the slave master off, just asking a simple question, or didn't understand shit, or it was just one day. I don't know, depending how it was in the plantation, cause there there is a lot of conspiracy to plantations. You know what I'm saying? They were saying there were once aliens that flew over before. They were saying like the slavery trade wasn't even real, and the people that held captive were working for the government. And there was a whole bunch of shit going on. There was, like I said, we don't know to this day, but some of us know because it's trickled down. Some of us got the secret or the secret sauce, the answer, or whatever. You can tell, bro. I mean, we're walking the same fucking dirt and concrete that everybody else walked on back in the early 1900s, bro. You think spirits ain't roaming around, bro? You think you walk around somewhere and it just automatically you recognize the area because you might be reincarnated or because you probably have an ancestral past? I don't know. That's just my theory on it. I don't know. But shout out to the black indentured workers. What I did for a day, a couple hours, some hours, bro, is what they did for 500 years, bro. And even through Jim Crow, it was basically still slavery, but just with rules. You know what I'm saying? You can't have white friends, and you can't have white family members. It was white people telling other white people this. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, but you had a few that were different. You know what I'm saying? That didn't accept that. But my thing is, it's not about race. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, shout out to the work ethic. Before there was, not to be disrespectful, but before there was Mexicans, bro, there was black indentured workers, bro. And this might be a little controversy. I don't know if it was an Irish or a Scottish person. Allegedly, there was a Scottish man that used the Irish architect, and they had the slaves rebuild the White House when the British came to the Americas and burnt down the White House. So the slaves had to rebuild the White House. Not slaves, black indentured workers had to rebuild the White House. Black indentured workers had to rebuild the railroad tracks before the Asians came over here. But we had to do a lot of shit, bro. Shout out to the motherfucking ancestors, bro. Shout out, and the thing is, we were not slaves, but we were in bondage. Just like today, a lot of people have different bondages shit going. Some people, you know what's the worst thing of worst slavery? One is the phones, but two, if you get trauma bondage with somebody, it can feel like slavery, bro. That way, that guilt, having, and it gets worse when you have that love and passion for somebody and they just still not willing to, or still just not accepting, or just not understanding what they do to you because you want them to be better and be healthier, just whatever the case may be. That could be a part of trauma bondage, or being raped, or being beat, or Just trauma bondage alone, folks. It's weird, bro. That's a slavery. It's a slave in itself. That's slavery within itself. Even phones today, that's damn we're slaves to our phones and shit. But the point I'm trying to make is shout out to the motherfuckers that made the phone because they knew how to keep the motherfuckers in bondage, bro. They put that work in, dog. Like everything's good and bad. Everything has good and bad. Everything has a negative and positive. Action, reaction. Or yeah. But like I said, I'm not trying to get off to a spiritual shit tangent. I'm not trying to get off a tangent. I'm not trying to get off on the race shit. But sometimes you gotta throw some little factors in there, you know what I'm saying? Or opinions, But I'm just saying, like, shout out to the black indentured workers that were in slavery. Yes. Shout out to them. Um, and then I gotta shout out to my grandma, my grandparents. Cause man, I've been learning a lot of shit, bro. The pictures and like I said, I just moved back in across from my grandparents. Got a little trailer and everything, trying to get this job stuff. Um, like I said, at this point, it's just like, and the worst part about it is when we were all considered slaves back then. Look at the type of shit we built versus today. You got buildings falling apart. You got basic looking ass buildings and shit. Nothing looks like energy fulfilling, so no one goes in those establishments anymore. You just got a whole bunch of shit down to the science, bro. It's just not the same anymore. And then you gotta be careful because you might be a talented motherfucker that can do that shit. Tartarian shit, architect. You might scare the higher ups and they might get mad at you. Just you never know. You never know. Or you might have a hater on the side that you might work with. You just never know, bro. But like I said, shout out to the black folks back then, bro. And they built America under the worst conditions. My thing is, bro, like I said, bro, that shit was backbreaking. Nigga, I said, fuck it. My mom looked like she's getting ready to pass out. She was tired. I said, all right, mom, just go sit down, go get some water. She went to the bathroom. She did what she had to do. She got, boy, when I say, bro, and I felt bad because, like, I was kind of complaining. I was like, God damn, I'm tired. No, 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 no. Until she started getting a little dizzy. I was like, all right, mom. After I drank me some little bit of tea, I was like, all right, mom, just go sit down. She went inside the house, got some fresh air. She relaxed. Well, when I say I went to fucking, bro, I went beast mode on. I damn near went half beast mode on that motherfucker, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's no offense to the Mexicans, but shout out to the niggas, folks. So I don't know about these new niggas today. Some of them can pull this shit off. You know what I'm saying? Some of them can pull this shit off. But shout out to the old niggas back then, bro. Shout out to, and you know what's crazy, bro? Some of them still alive to this day to tell stories. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll be rare. It'd be rare for me. It wouldn't be that rare because I know exactly where to go, but it would be rare in today's time to run into an elder that genuinely would want to teach you or tell you the story. And when I used to hear these stories, they used to fill me with more energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't some hatred shit, but not even that it can scare certain people because they'll feel like you're better than them, or you just got that it factor. You know what I'm saying? You just a different one. You know what I'm saying? That bloodline, and you gotta just keep going, don't get big headed, but just keep going, whatever the case may be. But you know what I'm saying? And even though people like to crack jokes on black folks, you know what I'm saying? People like to crack jokes and say, "Oh yeah, we had you in slavery this." And first off, what I don't understand is I get confused because white people were called Slavics. Slavic slavery, slave comes from the word Slavic. Is in Europe, Slovakia. So were black people Slavic Europeans at one point? Or were white, pale looking people slaves? I don't understand it. And then when you crack jokes about, and there's nothing wrong with jokes. I'm not saying it's anything bad, but like, when someone's genuinely trying to make you mad, it's just like they'll bring up slavery, and then you realize, realization is like, well, technically the word slave means Slavic and Slovakia, so they were white people that was enslaved first. Then they'll say like the hard R word, nigga word, and it's just like, well, I actually don't even know. To be honest, I even asked my sister, what does that even really mean? I only know what nigger means by what Charleston White's understanding. And those were a group of people that built America under the worst conditions where they had no names but called nigger. But other than that, I don't know what the fuck nigger means. Because them niggas back then was build the Black Wall Street, bro. Then they bombed Philadelphia full of black people back then. And there's some crazy shit, bro. I'm telling you, like, and then like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like shit on other race of people, but how well besides I'm not saying shit on because Iran has rebuilt their country and it's got bombed on just like black people in Philadelphia way back. They rebuilt a thriving black community in Philadelphia, not Missouri, but out there in East Coast, Pennsylvania. They bombed the fuck out of it and they fucking tore down. There's a whole bunch of evil shit that happened back then. But can you really blame people? People were like, certain people were just new to this shit, bro. And certain other people were just not on that timing shit, you know what I'm saying? Um, and then they'll bring like the fried chicken up. I heard fried chicken came from Scottish people. It was brought to the Americas, and then black people use our seasoning and herbs and spices, and we combine those two cultures together. That's so I don't know. Like I feel like, but then they say racism is an underlying mental illness, or we're underlying mental illness. Honestly, I don't know. There are words, and words have meanings, and meanings and spells and this shit. So I don't know, bro. Like, dude, I don't know, bro. I don't. That's like I said, I'm all for jokes. You know what I'm saying? I'm joking around, but when you try to use terms to actually mean it, it's like, well, you may mean it, but you probably don't know what it means like I do. And that's just on some humble shit, not on some egotistical shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. Shout out, like I said, shout out to them black folks that did it. Nigga, boy, you best believe, bro. And I do gotta get back in shape, but you best believe. And I ain't gonna lie, my sister said to me like a couple weeks ago. She said, I don't know what happened to you. You need to get back in that slave. I was like, what the fuck, bitch? Get your goof ass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, this ain't no diss to the Mexicans, my Latinos, and my daddy Puerto Rico. We Puerto Rican, we Puerto Rican. I thought I was gonna have some Puerto Rican kids. I ain't gonna lie. I might end up having some mixed kids. I don't know. I do want some black kids. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody's different though. You love what you love. Just cause you love something that look like you, that don't make you racist. You know what I'm saying? It's just you can't help it sometimes, and that's healthy too. And it means you're not over fetishizing for a group of people. It means you're not in a perverted energy for another group of people if it's not genuine. You know, so if it's not genuine, like, oh, I vibe with this person, you know, that person's attractive and it get you going type of shit. If it ain't genuine, it ain't hitting them, bro. But if it's fake, get the rakes, man. We gotta rake that shit away. But this is not a distance. I'm not doing that, you know. So I'm not on that type of timing. I'm just like as a young black man, because how many young black men or black people, young black folks in general, and you got quite a few of them, but are proud, like you know how young white people feel about their culture, their history, you know what I'm saying, their heritage. This is like how we feel, you know what I'm saying, like. But except for we didn't go around raping and pillaging everybody like that. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. That's damn. You can't just blame white people. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Because back then, white wasn't really even a thing. It was just European things, more European. You know what I'm saying? Not every European was on that type of timing. Yeah, they came from that shit and it was really bad. You know what I'm saying? If you study European history, like the Irish and the Italians and shit, especially from Chicago, boy, the oldest former job for females was prostitution. The oldest job in the world was prostitution. And, you know, back then it was shit. History tends to repeat itself. Can you blame these young ladies out here being vixens and shit? You know what I'm saying? But there is a certain class that needs to come with that, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, these females. That's why like a lot of older women trip off these young girls today. It's not that they are just doing it. It kind of is they are just doing it, but they're not doing it and having class. You know, so you're women are supposed to be multi-dimensional females. So now they're just multi-delusional. No offense, this goes into the video I was supposed to drop yesterday about a female, you know, that was asking me for money and it was just whole other bullshit. And that's another thing too. I will say this though. Yes, though I am proud of my black heritage and my culture, You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tony Reed. Shout out to Dr. T, or is that who we call him, Dr. T, or something like that? You know, I do feel like the Black Boule did sell out a lot of people, but I will say this though. Yes, I think if you put someone in a dumb mindset for the whole life, they will continuously do dumb stuff. I feel like slavery had a major effect on the way we think, our dieting, our processing, everything on my people. Yes, there's a lot of, gun violence and shit like that. But can you blame it? Can you blame us? Like that was all that was going on back then was violence. We really didn't have guns like that. And now a lot of us got guns that we wasn't able to tame, and we just doing it out of like certain reasons and shit. You know, I do definitely feel like slavery had a post traumatic effect on my people, and that's why some of my people got that rich bloodline do this crazy shit that they're doing, like these motherfuckers overseas are doing. You know what I'm saying? That I will admit to that, and no race of people is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect, but I do feel like, even though I'm proud of my history and my people, I do feel like slavery was a negative effect on my people. That shit was passed down. G. This might come right in. But other than that, I started learning to like. I don't know if slavery was real or not. I don't. First off, I don't believe it was real, and maybe it was. Um, I kind of believe more there was separatism than there was slavery itself. Because slavery's always been around. It was just done so bad, poorly here in America. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. Uh, and then like you gotta understand, black people are just a special breed, different breed. Black people in America too, or really not just America. You know what I'm saying? So we adapted to everything. Same culture. You know what I'm saying? We like German cars just like everybody else. We know how to work on cars and German cars just like everybody else. We worked in factories, we worked on farms, we worked plantations, we worked any and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when the British burnt down the White House back then, the British didn't say they were sorry and come back and help build the White House. The slaves did, and the slaves did it under the worst conditions. So what's everybody else's excuse? Uh, you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? If you know about John Brown used to lay the smackdown on motherfuckers. That's probably why they named it WWE Raw SmackDown, man. John Brown was laying smackdown on that shit. For if you know, you know. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like shout out to the niggas, man. No diss to anybody else. And I keep saying that, but nigga, we are the shit, bro. This is no diss to anybody else. But like I said, man, like I don't know how he's. And I'm not just going based off the video, but I remember when I was watching this video a couple of days ago. I forgot Buddy name. He's on YouTube. He got dreads. He said, "Man, I don't know how." He said, "Shout out to the basics. I don't know how they do that. I don't know." And I thought about. I was like, I thought about the video today, but I thought about. I was like, let me go way back. Shout out to them niggas. That's why niggas don't work no more like that. They do, but they don't, folks. You spend half your entire life building a small little place in this little country, colonial box like area on Earth. You get tired of the shit too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm not bullshitting y'all. Shout out to the niggas, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to black people, folks. The ones from back in the day and the ones that are still alive. You know what I'm saying? Um, Especially all over the South, for things of that nature. Uh, I don't know how they fucking did it back then, bro. I'm in that motherfucker truck slump, you know what I'm saying? I'm watching my mom, she doing it. I'm trying to get these little boxes off the trailer and everything. And I'm not, I'm taking breaks, but I'm trying to guide her to which way is easy because I'm so used to, I've been working at FedEx UPS, places like that. Since I ain't worked there like last recent years, kind of. Not really, no. But I ain't worked at a place like that since damn near 2015, 2016, bro. Years and years of labor, and then life got a little easier once I got into. I was transitioning into like total masculine male guy shit. Any normal guy would do everyday shit. I transitioned from that into like getting into the healthcare, so it was a little different. You know what I'm saying? I got a mop, I got to prep shit, I got to take down names, and I got to use my writing skills, learning, just getting names right, spelling names right, so you don't get confused. Because some people might have the same sounding names but spelled different. Had a lot of that. You had a lot of rich white old people. You know what I'm saying, which was cool. You know what I'm saying. It wasn't bad at all. It was really rich there. And had this lady that was so fucking genius, had art. Oh my god, she was rich and she was awesome. But the saddest thing, and she was white. She like remind me of young Martha Stewart. Not young, but an old Martha Stewart. And like youngish but old because she looked young. She had her youth, but this old white lady took care of herself. So, but she had dementia, bro. That was like the saddest thing, See what's her, and that's why I'm saying, like, even I will say this too, bro. Don't spend your whole life working, being racist, or just letting people say anything to you your whole life, cause this shit is like a gimmick. I get it. Like that bald head white dude said, Americans only like that towards each other when they're bored. Now when it's time to unite, da 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 da, and that's really understandable. That's definitely understandable and it's true to a degree. But at the same time, working my whole entire life with a bunch of guys of different race and shit, and just typical guy shit, after graduation, warehousing, what I'm saying, steel toe boots every day, walking to work, trying to catch the bus, walking 10 miles to work, all type of shit, dog. Straight out of high school to, once you get a nursing home, it's all mental shit. When you're the worker, it's basically all mental shit, you know what I'm saying? And then when I say all mental shit, because you're going to deal with a lot of fucked up shit, see a lot of fucked up shit, and go through a lot of fucked up shit, and experience a lot of fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? People pass away, people do say mean things, people do say nice things. People do forget about you sometimes after you didn't talk to that person yesterday about how good the meal was, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I've taken care of all kinds of people, Jewish people, white people, black people, Asian people. I pass cigarettes to the same human human being nature of a person. I've passed around cigarettes to every person of different race. People have similarities, but they're different in different ways. And that trick is like the trick is racism and just hard work. You know what I'm saying? That's the most money making thing, especially racism. If I can get a group of people and tell them that they're better than this other group of people, even with just the lowest tier job, you know what I'm saying? If I can tell this group of people that they're better than, you know what I'm saying, and just have their head gassed up until like reality, like today just hits them, like it's been hitting us, you know what I'm saying? But like it's just like Bacon's Rebellion, where the government promised white folks, then lied to them, back them, stabbed them in the back, and then gave them more rights and benefits and welfare. You know what I'm saying? Like toying with them, that type of shit. You know, yeah, it's a money making trick. And then okay, you can invest into this shit. You're spending all your money to this, and look what happened. They're cutting everybody's jobs. Man, I've been seeing. I don't even know what happened to that town in Nebraska, or somewhere Arkansas, or something like that small town. They was cutting the power plant. That's how you know ice was gonna get worse. I don't know if it was ice or not. Really, I think it was like, you know what it was though. They had shut down that plant out there somewhere in the south. And like I keep trying to tell motherfucking them Asians on the one just gonna grab that plant, bro. But right now, I don't know if they're up and still running. They might be. It was a lot of immigrants working. Well, not immigrants, but you know, a few more. They said allegedly, you know. But it's just little shit like that. They cut everybody's jobs, no matter who you are. They cut your benefits. They cut your care. They cut everything, dog. You know, it's crazy. And the people who actually made it to this country was actually able to get bread off those cars without. Don't get me wrong, I've got my little stimulus check, but I bust my ass while I've been living in this goddamn fucking country, bro. I didn't know COVID was gonna happen, but they didn't call it COVID. I also drunk that one night in 2019. I was like, oh, fucking disease virus going around. Oh well. You know what I'm saying? I kind of threw it off, but the next day I thought about it, like, what the fuck is going on? Then 2020 rolled around. Boom. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to get off. I'm not trying to get off topic. My bad. But yeah, bro. Just shout out to the niggas, bro. Yeah, we've been in this shit for, and I gotta keep giving my people their peaceful. No matter, cause sometimes I argue with certain women that look like me a lot on the net because they take this shit serious. Not a lot, but I do actually. I come in contact with my own women a lot. In contact, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. Shout out to the haters regardless, but shout out to them because we actually been through this shit together, our peoples and stuff like that. You know, but yeah, man, I could be one of those dudes that just, some ignorant shit, wild shit, YN shit, but I'm not. That's a waste of fucking space and energy. You know what I'm saying? Stop learning about rich black folks and the boule niggas. Start learning about the niggas that was boots on the ground in this shit, bro. I just told you about Bacon Rebellion, how they got fucked up, how white folks got fucked up by the government. The black boule do the same fucking shit to niggas, folks. Or to black people. That's why niggas don't hang out with black people like that. Boy, look at Diddy, bro. The boule, nigga. Come on, bro. Put the pieces together, people. Do your work. I'm trying to tell y'all, but ain't no way no slave black dude back then wearing boots and coverall and working his ass off, thinking about no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, eat his food and clap some chicken, shower, all type of shit. Over here and everything, bro. Nowadays, these niggas got too much money. They get too much power, too much lust, too much of everything, bro. And they got all the money. That's the worst kicker part about it, bro. And if any of them rich motherfuckers get online and do something a little positive, not even little, but a whole lot of positive, they asses is cooked, folks. That motherfucker come from their cheeks, boy. But you can't come from everybody like that, because it be some real ones that's rich and do be helping a lot of people, and they don't be fucked with, bro. Because they got some street niggas behind. They got street motherfuckers behind them, or motherfuckers well connected to the streets, just like people in the higher ups. You know what I'm saying? It does go based by money. You and strategic, but it's a lot of motherfuckers that's been lived in this shit like it's money, rich money, but very strategic and smart too. I don't know. It's a different kind of war out here, bro. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to them slaves back then. Shout out to the ancestors, folks. Just shout out to them, bro. This ain't no ignorant video about just food and our culture and music. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to big homie Cece, bro. That man all the way out in Africa. Like I said, a group of people from a very, very dark, hot continent that came to another continent, America, that came to this country and ran into people that looked just like them, and they called them Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? And that's how more of the mixing started beginning too. You know what I'm saying? With the Europeans and shit like that. Yeah, bro. It's just, I think nowadays a lot of these young dudes from different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, join gang just to understand niggas, folks. If you understand niggas, a lot of niggas ain't racist like that. I mean, they know, especially in Chicago, but we know Polacks and Poles, and I ain't got no problem with them. They cool as fuck. They some hard ass workers too, bro. That's like I'm telling y'all, bro. Them Eastern European blood, they hard work. You really think about it. You look at in the early 2000s and before then, them Eastern European niggas, back then, them hard, sturdy Eastern European niggas, the motherfucking the Irish or the Eastern European, regardless. You know what I'm saying? You do certain areas and locations, geographics, other than Euro Asia or just Europe, certain person, like very masculine, like the, you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Like some Russians type shit, like them niggas work hard and they get very fucking busy. They get active. They be really on demon time for the whole time, for, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas really be on demon time, for. them motherfuckers, they'll come together. I've seen them niggas in Chicago, bro. When I was working at the Great Escape, bro, they had like these Kazakhstanis or Russians or whatever, or they were tall white dudes and they spoke like a Russian language or some shit, Ukrainian language or some shit. Or I think it was Kazakhstan or some shit like that. Some shit like that. They tall as fuck. Boy, don't you know they asked for my help and some other few other people. And then like I said, I'm trying to help and shit, but I'm short and shit. I'm an only short one, but do you understand? It was like it was a couple of us, a nice chunk of them, but then I think they were testing us out. I don't know, bro, because they actually helped to build the other gazelle inside the store, gazelle or whatever, like a big ass outdoor mansion type shit or some shit like that. And me and my Mexican homie, we just sitting there like looking at it like, damn, we sitting there because we did help too. But the second time they built the one on their own, boy, they built that shit in like a 5 seconds. Like they was just bullshit testing the waters. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy for them, you know. But like them niggas get busy over the two folk. Don't sleep on them. I'm talking about them motherfucking Ivan Drickles, the motherfucking Fedor Emelianenko type niggas, them Dagestani type, you know, and Slovakians and just certain parts of Europe that keep that masculine shit, like, you know what I'm saying, like Russians and shit, bro. They some hardworking ass peoples too, folks. Don't get me wrong. So I don't know. Maybe the Slovakians had that shit on lock because the word slave does come from Slovakian, Slavic. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense. But I think you know what it was though. It was just our people from being in a hotter, darker continent and working and building and shit. We were kind of used to that, and there was a rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, gang. This shit, bro. And then it's always, oh yeah, the Africans came over to the Americas and Caribbean islands and Mexico because the indigenous people didn't have strong immune system. It wasn't necessarily that. That's because they were killed off like how many people are being killed off today. Now you just see white people at an alarming rate just getting murked, bro. On phone them or what we consider as white. You know, so I don't know if what we call white today, white people today, are really white at all. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of descendants come from Anglo-Saxon English or Germanic or Irish or shit like that. I don't know. I don't know. Germans and shit like that. But shout out to them niggas. I'll tell you that because I don't know how the fuck. And they still do this shit down south, Memphis and shit, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? All types of kinds of places, folks. Louisiana, New Orleans, Texas. Well, I'm surprised the whole South ain't went to Mississippi and start whooping ass yet. You know what I'm saying? They probably will, for they do be on. That's the one thing about the South. Them motherfuckers will come together. And if something ain't really right like that, boy, you think the motherfuckers ain't gonna come out for your ass, bro? Oh hell yeah. Best believe that. Look at the war and shit, bro. You think everybody out in the South ain't plotting just to get to Mississippi and beat some ass, bro? You know what I'm saying? Even them, they got some shit in the woodwork. So I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to them niggas though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Other than all that ignorant racism shit and all that dividing shit, we really some dope people, but we got a lot of work to do because we are too violent. It don't make no sense how violent we are to each other, bro. Like I'm talking about violent, bro. But I hate that shit, even mentally. You know what I'm saying? Men do the physical, women just do the mental and spirit. And even they getting physical nowadays. But yeah, bro. Shout out to my people, folks. Shout out to the ancestors back then. Really, shout out to the elders. That's really what I want to say. That shout out to the elders, bro, and the ones that still living to this day. And rest in peace to the unknown and known elders, bro. Even in my bloodline, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. This shit is. I see why motherfuckers is not want to come to America and play sports, do sports and shit. But this is why we have ACs here in America. I don't make it perfect. I ain't gonna lie, lately, since I've been going places, bro, I don't know, it's because I'm just bigger now, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But, I don't even know no more, because everything is just not like what it used to be, processed a certain way. Like cold water don't even feel cold anymore like that. Water don't even look like water no more. Still look like water, but sometimes, man, it's just sometimes. And ACs don't get colder when the way they used to anymore. Or maybe because I got a little bigger than a whole more body heat. But I ain't get that fucking big, bro. I ain't that, I ain't that stuck at my stomach. I ain't know, nigga. I'm still slim for a 230, 240, ish. You know what I'm saying? And just working out today. And it's like, and it's hard for people to believe. Like I tell people, when you're shorter and you have darker skin, it's worse enough when you're shorter. In general, you hold a lot of heat. You know what I'm saying, to keep you warm during the winter and all type of shit. But when you're shorter and you have darker skin than most people, some people have darker skin than me sometimes. You hold more heat. You know what I'm saying. Whether my dad's Puerto Rican or not, whether my dad's black or not, when you have just naturally dark skin or dark skin or brown skin, it just you hold more heat and this should get hot, folks. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. That's my take on it. But yeah, shout out to my peoples back then. Shout out to the elders. Rest in peace to all my aunties, TTs, and all of them. My aunts, some uncles too. Shout out to my uncles. That's one that's still alive today, but shit. I don't know how y'all did it, man. Man, they outdid the Mexicans, but the Mexicans just came in. For me, I was born in '97, so really the Mexicans just came in for me. Cause growing up, all just I didn't, at least. Like I'd say from 2010 to all the way. Damn, they were even doing slave movies back then like that. The year 2010 all the way up to now 2026. They still drop some slave movie, but it's more gruesome sometimes. Other than Roots, Roots was probably with advanced shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my uncle Alex Haley. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. Yeah, bro, it was weird. Like from 2010 to 2026, the way they dropped these slave movies more gruesome, but other than Roots, it was kind of, an underground, that was more like modern, like what it possibly looked like back then. But shit though. But then you got black people say back then, we didn't know what African was. We didn't know no Africans. We were just all niggas on plantation. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like, they know they were indigenous. They know that they were black, and they didn't really speak a language like that, but English and shit like that. A lot of them said they remember than the fucking African part or being on boats. That's because they were born into slavery, seed of a slave. You know what I'm saying? Um, but a group of dark skinned people named after a bondage was subjugated to that. You know, who was from Europe. You know what I'm saying? We were called many different names. You can call all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I gotta be careful with words like spells. You learn all this shit throughout history, though. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to them goddamn niggas, boy. It's your boy Don. Keep it thorough. Keep it on Charles. That's just my take on it, man. Like, man, if you think you got it worse, man, at least you not in slavery yet. You know what I'm saying? If it ever happens, if it happens, but be appreciative of what you got, bro. It could be a potato famine. It could be a war, super bad war, an actual super bad war taking place. It could be anything, dog. You know what I'm saying? It could be just working and not getting paid. Like they did to the people at Macomb. They fucked up for that. The sheriff said he's not the sheriff, the mayor said, well, I feel bad and I believe they deserve to get their pay. So just go head down to City Hall or Chamber of Commerce. I'm like, wow, dude. People are really slaves to this shit. They're trying to live now. They're just trying to live. Get their little fix. You know what I'm saying? Help your peoples out, folks. Help your peoples out. But that's your boy Don. Keep it going, Charles. Love y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, bro.